Hi everyone, and welcome to week 1 of Digital Web. I'm Kelly Carrick and I'll be your professor for the course. I'm going to take you through a little bit of the course information and what you need to be successful for the course and also for this week. So if this is your first course with us, I'm just going to go ahead and take you through a little bit of the information to know about. So everything that you're going to need from me is going to be under the course menu. So everything here, you have announcements, your modules, discussions, assignments, grades. Those are the things that I'm going to be using for the most part. So the first one here is announcements, and you can see I have my first announcement to you all that I also will email out to you as well. And what we're going to be going over this week is we're diving right into the principles of effective web design. So what you want to do first, you can also read a little bit of the information here, but I'm also just going to give you a little bit of a walkthrough. So I'm going to go ahead to the learning modules. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to start off with the start here. So if you want to poke around, you can. The course schedule is there. That shows you all your due dates. So for example, if this is the first time you've taken an online course, our weekly discussions, your initial post is usually due on the Thursday, and then you have the rest of the week to give feedback to other students. So let's start with the table of contents. There will be some things that are just for me that you will not see on your screen. So you can see here our syllabus for the course. So the whole purpose of this course is to be creating a website for yourself that's responsive. So you'll see a lot of information along the way about WordPress. I'm going to clarify that week by week as we go. But each of the exercise projects, at least for the first half of the course, are going to pertain to the final. So pretty much it's a term project with a couple of little papers here and there. Okay, so we'll be taking all the work that you've done so far and we'll be putting it basically live on a website for self-promotion. Okay, so your course outcomes, creating a fully functional website through application of appropriate principles of responsive web design. I'll let you read through the rest. As you scroll down, you'll see you will need Creative Cloud. And where you can get it if you do not have it already. Campus Press, if you do end up using WordPress, you will probably need to be using Campus Press more than some others. Of course, the technical requirements is there if you're having any issues. This is not one of those classes you can do mostly on the iPad, so if anyone uses their iPad a lot, just be aware of that. You'll definitely need something a little bit stronger. Moving down into grading, you can see the grade breakdown here. As most of the online classes, you have a little bit more weight into the discussions. So, participation is kind of important for that. You have 200 points towards your discussions, the short papers, 150, each of the assignments weighing in 75 points. And then your final project is worth the most in the course, and you can see 3 major milestones and then the final. Okay, so your total course points equaling 1,000, and the standard grading system there. And moving into the weekly assignment schedule. I won't go through everything, but I'll just go through the first of the module 1 because that's what I'm going to break down for you anyway. So module 1 of this week, we're moving into the process of portfolio web design. So the first discussion thread is going to be one, introducing yourself and also going through the principles driving effective web design. And then you'll have a first little project called site mapping. So you can read through that. I'm actually going to just take a step back and I'm going to go to the learning modules and look at the first one with you all. So you can check out assignment information and you can see all the rubric information there as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and pop into module 1 and give you a breakdown here. So of course, go through all the topics here before you tackle any discussion threads. You're going to want to do all your readings and all your research and everything so that you can go into those discussion threads and have like the most knowledge you possibly can on the subject. All right. So the first module, information and introduction, is there with the overview. Reading and resources under there, you can go through that. I'm also going to give you a few of my own. I always kind of do that with my courses. As you know, I have a different kind of wheelhouse of information that's not pre-built into the course. So you can see here our first discussion thread is on driving effective web design. Okay, so of course after going through all of the module 1 reading and resources, that's when you're going to want to tackle the discussion. So first part of the discussion is, introducing yourself to the class. I'm sure you all have done this in some capacity in either an on-ground class or online. Just a little bit about yourself. You can be brief. Your background in digital design, or if you have any experience in web design. Try not to be intimidated by the fact that this is, quote, a web design class. It's not going to mean that you're going to have to do a whole lot of code. I am here to help you with that portion. If you are better with code, you can use, things like WordPress and things where you might have to be using a lot more CSS and HTML. If you are not as great with those things, I will give you a few resources where you can mostly do things from the visual standpoint. My job is to help you leave the course with a really nice looking website that you're proud of, and also make sure that it's helping you understand its industry standard. Okay. The second part of the discussion is just talking about what you feel like web design is to you, what's effective with portfolio websites, what's important about them, and so on. And you can read through the rest of that there. Okay, for the response portions, you'll have through the end of the week to do that. So initial post is due by Thursday of the week, and then the response posts are due by the end of the week. And you can read through the discussion rubrics there to go more into detail on that. Okay. So the next part of it, this web page goes over the final project review. And again, you're working towards the final goal, which will be a responsive personal portfolio website. Okay, so your first milestone due in this module, and then the rubric is here. Okay, so this is that first milestone that we're going to be working towards, which is building a simple sitemap. So for milestone 1, you'll be creating an image of a sitemap, which is just a flow chart of what things that you think you'll need on your website. So there's a lot of the information in module 1 that will go over this stuff. And you can read through the guidelines and rubrics if you're not familiar with those. I can kind of show you what those are. So basically, you're going to be illustrating a sitemap, showing the hierarchy of your portfolio website. So you need to have the following pages: homepage, about, portfolio, and contact. Now, depending on more or less, depending on your skill set, that's where I come in and you come in. A lot of what we do will be one-on-one via the assignments area, going back and forth until we've reached kind of like a happy medium with what we think will both work for your website. Okay, how you do it is up to you. I mean, this part's more text-based. If you want to do it in Illustrator, Photoshop, even Word, you can do it. And then of course your rubric is here on if you had all those informations there, if you didn't do it at all, and so forth. Okay, let me go ahead and go back to my personal stuff here. So just before I pop over to too many different things, let's talk about Miro. So if you want to use Miro, if you've never heard of it, and all of these links are also going to be in your announcements area, I'll link them to the announcement. Miro is something that I use for my clients to build a sitemap. I have used Adobe Illustrator before, but this is great because it's also interactive. You can use the free version, obviously. I'm not going to have you need to necessarily buy anything for the course unless you want to buy something like a portfolio theme, which we'll talk about next. But Miro is something I use with my clients now. It's pretty much a drag and drop type of hierarchy for websites, and so you can watch the little video on that if you want. I love it, and it's what I use personally now instead of Adobe Illustrator. It's great too because you can collaborate with your clients if they have the skill set where they need to be more hands-on. So instead of just going back and forth via email, you can basically have an interactive document where you invite your clients and they can put notes in the document and so forth. So watch the little video on it and decide if it's good for you. If it's too intimidating, go for Illustrator, whatever works best for you. Okay? So let me talk about a few other options that you have. So you'll see the word WordPress a lot in the course shell. I don't have a lot of control over those things because those are pre-built. You know, as a professor, I really only have control over things like the announcements and, of course, the grading. Once the content is live, I can't really change a lot of those things. So what I do is I give out links and information just like what you're seeing here in the announcements area. That way you can get more current information or things that I use personally that maybe, you know, the previous instructor didn't have. So Wix is a site that you can use for your website as well. If you don't want to use WordPress, you know, we have all the way up until about week 5 to you really have to make a hard decision on what software you want to use to build your website. Up until then, it's all just planning. So Wix is a site I've used for a few clients. There's some, you know, Wix Studio, you can check it out. There are some free sites, and then there are things that you can purchase, like themes that you might like. I'm open to either, because realistically, if you were doing this for a client, it would be the same process. So you can decide if this is good for you. You know, the creation tab is going to have a lot of what you're looking for. Website templates, if you want to check there. This is just a really good place to look at for, like, we can search creative, and we can search, like, maybe you're more focused on art and illustration. You can also search through their templates and find things that maybe if you are going to tackle your own creation from scratch, you might even find navigation or things that you like. Like, I'll just show you one of them. Like this one, obviously this is missing one of the tabs, but just so you can see how they laid out their information. You know, things that are very popular right now are one-page sites, you know, something where you would just continuously scroll versus using just tabs. So you could even just use this for design inspiration while we're going through the process. Okay, so Wix is one of the sites that I have used for clients. Squarespace is actually one that I use a lot still. There are some free templates again, or you can use a paid one depending on really what your needs are. You can search through this for design inspiration as well. You can also build your own template. So it's a little bit more personalized if you want to use this and build your own, you know, besides WordPress. And you can look through the popular designs here and look through graphic design and art and illustration as well. So just another little tool that you can look at to see what's going to work best for you. Another new one that has kind of popped up is Webflow. I've been seeing this used a lot more. If you want to check them out, you might have not heard about Webflow yet, and that's okay. But if you are more into code, if you do write more code, might be a good solution for you because you have a little bit more power than, let's just say this would be just like using Dreamweaver. You could have the split code between visual and the actual code side, and then you could actually be using more of the HTML functions and things. So this is a little bit more intuitive if you are more on the code side. Okay, and then there's good old WordPress. I don't have the WordPress tab up right now, as we'll be moving in towards that. But Envato is a really good place that you can check out actual WordPress themes. So if you are going to go that route, you can look at site templates, you can look at specific WordPress. There's all kinds of things that you can get on here, because I know everybody's going to have a different thing. You know, maybe you already have a blog and you're going to be incorporating the blog into your site. There's all kinds of different ways that you can go. I just like to give you all your options up front so that you don't think you're just going to be stuck using WordPress with the one specific theme that they talk about in the module. I am definitely more open-ended than that. You will not have to only use WordPress. What I like about ThemeForest, this is the site that I use when I do WordPress themes, as I do not develop a lot of them from scratch anymore. They're pretty cheap and they're really customizable. You can buy all kinds of plugins, like for custom mailing and things like that. But it's a really good place to start for checking out navigation, and again, research is a really big thing when you're doing web. Okay, this is a site that I built in Squarespace not that long ago, maybe a year or two, for an outrigger club, one of the ones that I used to be in. It's a scrolling one-page site, so it has everything on one page. I mean, you can click on the navigation on the side. It is responsive, so it does work mobile. It has a contact page just like you all will have. It has weather with links that go to like Magic Seaweed. And it also links, that's me right there, boop. So that is something that you could use if you choose to Squarespace. That was an easy little theme that I did. Also for your research is the Webby Awards. If you've never actually used, it's actually webbyawards.com, but I have the awards pulled up. These are great if you're really looking for something kind of cutting edge and different. This is the best in web design if you've never heard of it before. So you can check out their reel. It has the winner of all different types of areas, so like social web, gaming web, actual just websites and mobile sites. This would probably be where you would want to start since you are specifically doing a website. And then you can also see the nominees for like Best in Show. It's great too because on the bottom, these are the specific agencies that built the site. So you can also, if you really, like if you're more towards the end of your career in education, meaning you're graduating soon, you can also kind of seek people out that you might want to work for. I mean, that's how I got my first internship. I sought it out what I wanted and I tailored my portfolio specifically for the jobs that I wanted. And that was just kind of how I attacked it, which I think is kind of a good way to go if you already kind of have a gut instinct where you want to be. So it's great because you can find some agencies here that you might not know about, and you know, a lot of you might just go and follow them on Instagram and stuff, which is also really good because, you know, that's where most people are posting a lot of creative work besides like TikTok and things like that. Okay, and we talked about Miro. So again, that's all the information that I have for you this week. Expect to get a weekly announcement like this for me every week. I won't bombard you. If you have any questions on any of the information, you could also post to, there is a general discussion thread under, I believe it's course menu discussions. There's a general questions forum if you want to post there, and then either me or someone else that might know the information can pop in there, or you can just use the little mail tab up top and hit me up there. Okay, excited to work with you all this semester, and welcome.